So, welcome back to Legends of Evil, where I talk about the villains outside of the comics. And since it's still the most wonderful time of the year, I decided let's talk about another horror-centric villain for this series, and that is Pumpkinhead, a lesser-known but equally kick-ass creature for to talk about. Yeah, definitely a character that is a personal favorite of mine, and definitely a cult classic. Now, Pumpkinhead is... what is Pumpkinhead, for those who don't know? Pumpkinhead is a demon of vengeance, kind of like Ghost Rider. However, he's a little different in the sense that you can become Pumpkinhead, and that becomes the case with one character, but really, Pumpkinhead is a demon of vengeance that can only be summoned when people sell their souls to a certain witch, out in the Ozarks, and what happens is that you are bonded to the demon as it goes out and carrying out your vengeance on those who have wronged you, and it murders them, and you feel the victim's pain. The only way to kill Pumpkinhead is to kill the host of who it's bonded to. So there you go. Now, Pumpkinhead had been for generations, Pumpkinhead had been this mythic creature of vengeance throughout the entirety of the Ozarks. Like, it had been killing for centuries, and Pumpkinhead had been carrying out vengeance as it always is until the 80s, when a certain young man named Ed Harley had his son was accidentally murdered by a group of teens who were passing through his gas station. Well, actually, a little shop, excuse me. So, from there, Ed Harley basically went to the witch, summoned Pumpkinhead, and went on a brutal killing spree. Now, Pumpkinhead is also, it's really cool, because Pumpkinhead is created by creature designer Rick Baker. Rick Baker. And, is it Stan Winston or Rick Baker? Rick Baker. I think it was Rick Baker. Or is it Stan Winston? I get those two. I forget who makes it, but yeah, basically, it was a creature designed by him. The movie was directed by him. And the monster's really cool. It almost looks like a demonic version of a xenomorph. It really does look like a demonic xenomorph. And, yeah, this is pretty cool. Now, Ed Harley dies at the end, is killed at the end, but however, his body was put in the pumpkin patch where one could summon Pumpkinhead himself. And there he would stay for a long time. But however, during the second film, Pumpkinhead Bloodwings, is a total detachment from the first film, in that this version of Pumpkinhead is still a demon, but it is the son of the original Pumpkinhead, who has come back after being accidentally resurrected to go out and kill those who had murdered him beforehand. He was once a young boy named Tommy who was deformed, and these kids from the 50s murdered him. So yeah, there was that. Tommy died at the end. Tommy, a.k.a. Pumpkinhead, which, by the way, how does, his mother was human and his father was Pumpkinhead? I'm curious to know. And actually, there is some stuff that they wanted to talk about in the comics, that there was a cult of Pumpkinhead, and the mother was kind of like offered to Pumpkinhead. So that kind of explains it. Anyway, Pumpkinhead, the original Pumpkinhead, would not return until Pumpkinhead 3. Which was years later. Pumpkinhead 3 centered around a group of people who had found out that their family members had been desecrated and sold for organs on the black market by the local doctor. So they summoned Pumpkinhead to go out and kill every fucking thing in sight. And that's what Pumpkinhead does. Then we go to... this would also mark Ed Harley's body being the new Pumpkinhead. His body was transformed into the new Pumpkinhead, since the last one had apparently been too damaged during its first going out with Ed. Now, Pumpkinhead did come back in another story called Blood Feud, which was set during the Hatfields and McCoy era, and that one, it's not great. I can barely remember that one. But regardless, Pumpkinhead is a really cool concept and a really cool creature. Unfortunately, a lot of people tend to forget about him because, I don't know, he's only had 4 films, and even his first film, people are kind of half and half on. But Pumpkinhead himself is a really cool creature design. It's not like it's not like your typical slasher. Pumpkinhead isn't like your typical slasher. He's this hulking, indestructible leviathan of a monster who is coming to kill you, and not only just kill you, but just brutalize you. Just completely and utterly brutalize you while he's doing it. And with a smile on his face, he'll kill you slowly. Now, in the Pumpkinhead comics that have recently come out from Colin Bunn by Dynamite Comics, Pumpkinhead recently got some new powers. He got some wings. He's also, I think, got some Hellfire projection to him. Yeah, so Pumpkinhead's now upgraded. And also, can I just say to Dynamite Comics, if anyone out there is listening to that to me, can we, since you guys have Pumpkinhead and Jeepers Creepers, there any chance we can get Pumpkinhead versus Jeepers Creepers the comic? Because you guys, like, not only that, you also got Reanimator, you've got Army of Darkness, you've got Vampirella, you've got Elvira. You got a lot of horror characters outside of Freddy, Jason, and Michael. I think you also don't have Chucky either, fortunately. But, yeah, you guys got all the other slashers, so please do something with that. You know, I'm just saying, Pumpkinhead versus Jeepers Creepers, indestructible monster versus other indestructible monster. That would actually, like, be really freaking cool. And they actually live really close, you know. I think, if I remember right, Jeepers Creepers takes place in Florida, and the Ozarks are like a huge stretch of the South. So it wouldn't be too hard to get, you know, Pumpkinhead and the Creeper to fight one another. I don't know. Excuse me, I'm going off a little off track. So yeah, all in all, Pumpkinhead was actually a character I've always enjoyed, and I know, again, the character of Pumpkinhead has always been, like, really interesting, because, again, it really feeds on that whole, you know, vengeance, but how far, you know, and what are you willing to sacrifice for your vengeance? It really does bring up that really cool angle of the story. And I always liked that. I thought that was always a cool part of it, in that, yeah, you don't get to go scot-free in what you're doing, you know. It's going to leave, in this case, a physical scar on you. It's going to leave some serious damage to you, but not as much as your victims, but you are going to feel their pain as they die. And Pumpkinhead, just design-wise, is just awesome. You'd think, like, when I first heard of Pumpkinhead, without seeing the character, I thought it was just a dude with a pumpkin on his head. That's what I thought it was, like a hillbilly with a pumpkin on his head. That's what I initially thought Pumpkinhead would be, and then I saw Pumpkinhead in the film. Yeah. Really fucking cool. It's a really fucking cool design. So, yeah. There you go, guys. Again, I thought I'd shed some light on a lesser-known horror icon. But yeah, I thought you guys would enjoy that. So, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Pumpkinhead as the character, as well as what did you think of the films, and what do you guys think of what do you guys want to see more in the Pumpkinhead comics? I'm going to try to pick them up and do a review on them when they come out in trade. But once again, just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.